Good day, my loves. Good day. I hope you are well. I am sending you guys so much love and abundance and just joy in your heart again, okay? I don't know where you're at on your journey, but just know that I am sending you so much love. And if don't nobody understand, I definitely do. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Spiritually Savage here. So there's been something that has been plaguing my mind for a minute. Like during the beginning and probably about like maybe 6-9 months ago, I came across a chick named Chris Talks, right? And I watched a few of her videos. I've watched thousands of videos, so you'll hear me reference people periodically, and these are literally people that I watched. And so one of her videos, she was talking about how she had pledged a sorority. And after understanding that I was on a spiritual journey, and that's why a lot of things have been happening to me, and then I came across black magic and all that stuff, a lot of the pieces of my life started coming together. And these past couple of days, it is what? Let me see it. It is February 25th, 2022, and it is 9:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm on my way to the grocery store. But over the past, there was a series of course of events that happened 2 days ago, about 3 days ago, which leads me to this conversation. And so I know I'm going to title it something about sororities and fraternities. And this is my life experience, right? And so I remember growing up and watching Bill Cosby, and I remember growing up and watching A Different World, and always wanting to pledge, right? Always wanting to, but I knew I couldn't subject myself to any type of humiliation just to join a group. Like when we went to college, and I went for one semester before I was like, I'm not ready to go to school, but everybody else went, and they was talking about how they was pledging and all that stuff. I heard so many stories, and I was like, I was turned off by it, because I'm like, that doesn't represent being a sisterhood to me. You want me to humiliate myself. And, I heard that they had to humiliate themselves some as far as having to sleep with somebody, like School Days. Everybody watch School Days. If you haven't, watch it. It's a almost true depiction of what goes on, right? And so I've always wanted to, but the reality of it was I wasn't going to, because I didn't want to humiliate myself. I didn't feel comfortable. That never sat well with me, right? It just never sat well with me. And so fast forward to just, being on my walk. And I'm realizing and understanding and overstanding. And it came across because I came across a young lady. I'm not going to mention her name now because I'm still learning from her. So when I'm done with the person or the videos, then I'll hip y'all to it. But I don't need anybody interfering in my energy. And I've watched it happen. I watched me tell someone about a reader I had come across, and okay, and I had been watching this woman for a minute. And the moment I introduced her to this one particular person, who was the last of them all to fall. Oh, I'm rhyming. The energy shifted. And she felt it too. The reader felt it. She felt it. And calls it out. So it was like, okay, that's the only reason why I'm not being shady, y'all. I'm not being selfish or stingy. I just want to absorb the information and digest it myself, and then I will hip y'all to her. But anywho, she had mentioned something that happened when I was 19 years old. it struck a chord. The second chord it struck was the fact that this person was of Italian descent, right? Okay, I'm going somewhere with this. And then the third thing she said was that they stole from you. Their current wealth is actually yours. And it hit me. Y'all, it hit me so hard because I had not thought about this person. I'm telling you, God and Spirit, my ancestors, they keep unveiling people to me. And I'm sure if I sat down enough and turned the videos off enough, I would get this information myself. And that's where I'm leading myself to now, because it's like, because she called me out too. She said I was handicapping myself, which is true, because and it's just basically me gaining my trust, gaining my own trust back, if that makes any sense. I don't know, because I think a lot of things, and it's like when I watch certain videos, they confirm what I'm thinking, so it kind of reassures me. That's what happens when you've been in black magic so long and you're reparenting yourself and you're coming out of a narcissistic web. It's like, yo, it's what's real and what's not real. Okay, so you're having to use your discernment. And so it's comforting when you're on this journey alone, because basically that's what you're going to be doing. You're on this journey alone. You're not going to have no mom, no dad, no brother, no siblings, no nothing. They will probably be there in the physical. Hopefully not, because we're going into a certain time. But if you are surrounded by those that are not of the light and that their free will chose to stay in the dark, meaning, understand when I say that, because those words are buzzwords and it strikes fear in certain people. They chose not to do the work to heal their soul, to heal their spirit. They are trapped on that wheel. We're trying to get the hell off. For the most part, and for the majority of it, we are already off. But we are human to a certain extent. And so therefore, we have to feel these human emotions and experience them, because it allows our soul to grow. And there's been no shame in my game. I do call them addictions. They may not be addictions in your world. Your world may be something else. But mine is smoking and eating. And so I've been going back and forth with those two things for the past couple of months. And so, but anywho, that's a whole nother story. But what struck me after a series of events, which brought me to tarot again, and tarot is a handicap for me. It is a handicap, because when I don't watch tarot, I get my own downloads and etc. And it's not like, okay, I'm watching and I'm discerning the information and I'm pulling the information from them and piecing it together, which I do very well. But now it's time to trust my own self. And so the moment I post this, I will be on just reading. I'm trying to do no electronics, but when something is puzzling me and I don't have the information in front of me, I Google it. But then I go down the rabbit hole, a little one, because if it leads to this, then I want to know the root. And then, so I'm trying to just focus on the books that I have within my dwelling. That includes all types of books. All types of books. So we'll be seeing how that goes. I don't know when I'm posting these videos, but I always put in the description what I try to, unless I mention it throughout the video. The time it was recorded or the date it was recorded, right? But something struck me, because when she said Italian descent and when she said about 19 years old, and what I know now about the occult, what I know now, she straight up came over, read me, and stole what was supposed to be mine. Because of course, when you're doing a reading on someone, you have to have their birth date and whatnot. Now, this is a cousin that I love, but because you know, we didn't grow up together really, because when I moved away, she was already like in college or something like that, and she's got a cousin on my mother's side. I have to be distinctive about that because it is my mother's side that carries the curse. Okay? I haven't gotten so much far into my dad's people. We all know how that goes. And then my mom's information only goes so far. So when they said that, it was like instantaneous because she used astrology. She knew. And then I'm going somewhere. I know I came to Chris. I'm about to tie it up because I came to my destination. But I'm getting excited now because I pieced it together. And I was like, my New York self came and I was like, say word. Say that was not the case, chick. That was not the case. But I say all that to say because she is in a sorority. I also had one of my mom's baby sisters, and I'm going to keep it very general just like that, who when first moved to Georgia. Now, I don't remember her. I think I remember her maybe once in my life when we lived in New York. We're like 13 years apart. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I just had a revelation. I'm going to keep it to myself so I can marinate on it. Anywho, let me get to it. I also had an aunt come when she moved to Georgia. She came and took me out. I had just had surgery. I had fibromyalgia. I had fibromyalgia. But at this time, the surgery was due to fibroids. And I got to see when this was. Ooh. The revelations is coming out, and I'm like, I'm trying to get the message out, but oh my gosh, I can't wait to write about this. Okay, anyway, let me focus. Okay, and I may speak fast. I'm trying to get it out because right now my brain, my mind, spirit, they're like intervening. It's like a lot of chaos going on in my mind right now. Okay. So after watching this young lady's videos, who is a tarot reader, because I slipped back into the pattern of watching tarot. Listen, spirit world and what's going on in tarot is much more interesting than what's going on in this fake America. What's going on in this fake matrix. It really is like, and I'm tuned in. So, but it's handicapping me and my spiritual growth and strengthening my own spiritual gifts. And I know that. I get that, right? And she called me out on it. And this is a video from a minute ago. So, obviously, energetically, they knew I would slip back. There was a timeline where they knew I would slip back into it. And they brought this young lady into my peripheral. But she dropped some gems. And I ain't gonna lie, I think I watched like 3 or 4, 5, maybe, of her videos. Because I like to get around. Anyway. So, let me just focus. So, watching this video, when she mentioned the Italian descent and something that happened when I was 19 years old, I instantly clicked. Because I only have one cousin. And it's my cousin, like my mom's first or second cousin, something like that. It's her father. That's how we're related. Her mom is Italian and her dad is black, obviously. And I had picked up on some weird vibes. This was before I was awakened. But I remember speaking on it to a homegirl of mine. Well, the same one that dropped off, the last of the Mohican. That's what I refer to her as, because she was the last of the dying breed. She was the last of the undercover narcissist. I didn't have too much interaction with this cousin. On an occasion I did. Yo, it was like she came and did a reading, y'all. And I was so focused because I wasn't thinking esoterically. I wasn't thinking about how everything is connected. But those that are in sororities and fraternities, they know. And I don't know what goes on behind closed doors. I really don't. But the one who is in a sorority and the cousin who came and did a reading on me is a sorority. And those two things are no coincidences. There are no such thing in your life as a coincidence. Let me be the first to tell you, there are no such things as coincidences. Not at all. Not by a long shot. You hear me? And so that was the piece of the puzzle, one of the pieces that I was missing. But it would just so happen that just a week ago, my mom comes up, and y'all know I know my family is a bunch of demons, meaning they are unhealed creatures. They are unhealed beings, entities. I don't know what dwells on the inside of them, but I do know they refuse to do the work to heal. Why? Because I was the one trying to help them to heal. And at some point it was like that contract, they broke that spiritual contract by them trying to manipulate me. So I don't owe them anything. I feel like we come into this to help people grow. That was what I came here and incarnated to do. And I've been doing it my entire life. But they abused me. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Spiritually, I was in a marriage from a young age. Seriously. This is all the stuff that I've uncovered it from spirit, from being awakened into who I truly am. So that was disgusting to me because I had, out of nowhere, y'all, I started getting sick, fibromyalgia. That's because people were stealing my energy and turning it into their fortune. Turning it into their fortune. So all that shit comes back to me. Because they thought I would die. They was doing this. My family collectively did this spiritually. My family now, and I learned how to separate, but they are still one. They agreed to gaslight me, all of them. But thank God, when things was going crazy, God sent angels who was not part of this spider's web to let me know I wasn't crazy. God will always send you a witness. I don't care how many people you got against you. I don't care if it's 15, 20. I don't care if you got one. There is a witness to how you have been treated that is not a part of that. So when I'm speaking my truth. I'm speaking it. And I will do it in such a way with class. But it is the truth. That cousin, that half Italian, half black cousin that was all about this love and all about that, came and did a reading on me when I was 19 years old. And I don't remember much about it. And I want to know if I kept my journal. I probably threw it away because it was whatever. My journals are out there. I feel them. I don't feel like they're gone. I feel like somebody has them. Anyway, another story. But that was foul. I'm going to say your name. It will be evident. Because I'm recalling back all my energy from those that took it from me. Those that I gave it away unknowingly. Those that manipulated me in order to get it. I'm just now understanding, overstanding, and understanding and accepting. This is the part that I am accepting now. Is that on the spirit realm, my family are demons. The ones that are currently around me are demons. They don't believe in saying what's right and what's wrong. They don't believe in nurturing their children. These are just facts. They don't believe in camaraderie and a village. They don't believe in reciprocity. They will use you until you get hip to it and you cut them off. That's just basically it. Everybody around me agreed to gaslight me. From the cousin who kicked me in the back of the leg and severed my Achilles tendon and then act like she didn't do it. Like literally. But we was at a whole weight. And her sister-in-law saw it and was like, how you gonna act like you ain't do that? That's gaslighting. Acting as if I didn't need help and wouldn't lift a finger to offer or anything like that. By forcing me to ask them for help, that's a form of gaslighting, and it boosts their ego. And then it's like, oh, she can't live without me. She can't do nothing without me. It puts you in the victim mentality. Like, so now I'm like, fuck all this shit. I was still trying to help and heal. Literally, I was. Not stupid, not dumb, not hard-headed. Just know what life is going to be like in the dark. I survived the dark. But if you were feeding off of my energy, this goes out to everybody. Friend, lover, family, cousins, distant cousins, co-workers. If you was feeding off me in any kind of way because you were privy to the occult knowledge on your meager level, that you were privileged, because you were privileged with that information. You wasn't supposed to abuse it and manipulate the people around you. You weren't supposed to do that. You were supposed to help because that was a God-given gift. God so giveth, God so taketh away. I lived in the dark without my intuition, being confused, being in a state of fear. I was going back to journals where I was like, I felt like I was dying because I literally was dying. I was fucking dying. And everybody around me that saw me in pain, everybody around me that saw me hurting, everybody around me that I complained to, acted as if I was crazy, acted as if I was losing my mind, acted as if it was phantom pain. And I'm telling them, y'all ain't never heard me say this before I was 30. Y'all ain't never heard me say nothing. That's why I'm glad I wrote it down. I wish I can get my journals back from when I was really green, from my teen years, because I know I was spitting nothing but straight facts. But in the ones that I kept, I was still, because it's only been 3 years that I've been on this journey where it's like, what? Spiritually. That's the thing, that's why they don't tell you about. They tell you about, oh, it's all this and it's all that, and they try to word it. No, it is literally messed up. It's messed up when you realize that the people you was loving on and pouring into spiritually was against you. That's why you have to know when you're evenly yoked. And I'm thinking because we're family, that's how religion gets you. They preach the whole family and the forgiveness. No, you don't always have to forgive nobody. You can forgive them for yourself and keep them at a distance. So I'm accepting the fact that my family, I was raised by demons. I was raised by demons because they've been this way their whole entire life. And they get mad when I call them demons or when I call them the devil. But that's actually what they are. They are, because they're operating in that energy. Just like when I'm operating in that energy, I'm operating in low-level energy. That's the devil's energy. That's the devil's realm. But because they are still in the matrix and they're still sleeping, those are buzzwords and triggers for them. And I get it. But I am just now accepting that I was raised by demons. I don't know what happened. I really don't know. I really don't know. There are still pieces of my life that I'm still putting together, but that was one, accepting that was one realization that I had issues accepting, was who was around me. And they've been that way my entire life, and I've always been different. And I'm not just talking about from my immediate family. Listen, I'm not just talking about from my immediate family. I'm talking about from extended family too. The ones I called my god sisters, the ones I called my cousins and my brothers, and them too. I'm talking about all of my aunts, not just one, not just two. I'm talking about all of them. I'm talking about all of my uncles. I haven't had a personal experience like with one of my uncles because he's not been around, because he lives in a different state. But if he's part of that whole web, but it seemed like he got out. But he still got caught up with a spider web of himself in the form of his ex-wife. But that's a whole nother story. But he escaped this family's spider web. So that's where I'm at with it. On this day, I'm accepting it. And so I'm pulling myself back more and more and more, not trying to intervene and teach, and because it falls on deaf ears unless it comes to disrespecting me. Unless that's where I draw the line, where I will say something. I even had to pray about the dogs because, like, I don't know what their karma is. And then I recognize the people around me do certain things to get the last time I watched him hit Remy with the stick, he was looking at me out the corner of his eye. I watched him. And I didn't stop. I didn't pull the curtain back or nothing. I pulled the curtain back because I heard something wrestling. And when I seen him hitting her, I just did that. And I said a prayer. And I knew God, Creator, the Most High, was going to fix it. Because that's a fenceless creature who is cowering in the freaking corner, and you're hitting her with a stick. I'm trying to curve the New York that's trying to come out, but you like a straight for doing it. So yeah, it's crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. But I just realized that, and I'm going through a journal, and at the age of 27, the narcissist plan was in action. Because at 33, you have a Saturn, what they call a Saturn return. Like by the time you're 33 or around that time frame, right? That's when God is asking you to decide. Are you going to do right, or are you going to go wrong? Are you going to stay in your south node, or are you going to move forward in your north node? What are you going to do? And my energy was already being manipulated. It started by the age of 19, but I was strong and I was powerful. But the moment I went against myself, it was easy for those demons to come in. But I fought back and fought back. I fought back. And I spoke my truth every step of the way. Whenever something strange happened, I spoke about it. So I know I did these things as a kid. And I remember specific time frames where I did do these things, where I called out bad behavior in adults. And because I was a child, it was like, stop being disrespectful. I wasn't being disrespectful, but anywho. But yeah, so I just had that revelation about a cousin who used her spiritual gifts and the knowledge she obtained in the occult from her sorority. You can't tell me that she didn't. And I bring it back and tie it in, and this is when I'm about to end this video because it's going on 30 minutes. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to let y'all leave it for y'all to look it up for her. Her name is Chris Talks. And I came across a video of hers where she was talking about how she was part of a sorority, and when she came on her spiritual journey, I don't know what she had to do to become a soror. A soror. I don't know what she had to do, but it took her a year for that sorority to turn her loose. And it was like a cult, she said. Watch the video, look it up. So this goes out to all you folks who are in the sororities and fraternities. Y'all doing something. I got another video about a fraternity brother. Yeah, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. Namaste, Ashe, Mazel Tov.